I am an artist living in beautiful Vermont, USA, and I have a lot of questions. So I engage the minds of the people that I meet. Poets, writers, artists. I explore what's inside and share it with you. My name is Ricky McGeckran, and I am eager to know. Hey everyone, and welcome to Eager to Know. Today I have local Bellows Falls resident Aaron Eames, who is here with me today. And welcome to Eager to Know.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you inviting me onto your show. It's a first for me.
I am very excited to sit down and talk with you. We met at the local bar, PK's, but then I got to see you in all of your glory at the the Saxons River 4th of July parade.
Yep.
You were the MC, and I had friends visiting from out of town, and you were so funny. And I turned to my friends, and I'm like, this guy is great. And they're like, yes, this guy is very talented. And I see you all the time because you work at the hardware store, and obviously I am at the hardware store. So we see each other at least once a week.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a great place, like a local, like the jewel of Main Street, really, for me, because you get to see everybody.
Yeah,
you know, and I really love just meeting locals and building those relationships.
Nice. Now, when I saw you performing, so to speak, at the 4th of July parade, and we've had subsequent conversations about this. Yeah. That is a part of you
I love
that is very special, and I know people's biggest fear in the world is usually public speaking. You had shared with me that is your favorite way of communicating with the world. I'm sort of reading this as this is a part of you.
Yeah.
That you have always been as probably a kid. Tell me about, like, how did that manifest itself when you were younger, and when did you first try to explore that part of your personality and that part of your being that enjoys the fuel from people?
Well, oddly enough, when I was a young child, I loved doing like all the kid performing stuff.
Meaning like plays and stuff?
Well, just like, you know, you'd get together. I have two sisters, and, you know, we'd perform at holidays or whatever for everybody, and, you know, just do little silly things. And I liked that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I was actually an introvert for the most part growing up when I was younger. I was kind of a heavy kid, and had a learning disability and all that stuff that really kind of crippled me socially. And I spent a lot of my younger years, in my 20s and whatnot, kind of finding myself. And, you know, my overall positive attitude and general humor, although sarcasm is a second language in my family.
You speak fluent sarcasm.
Very, very. It's definitely a paradigm of my personality, and it really kind of started to come out more and more in my late teens and early 20s when I wanted to start, you know, when I even thought about it because of an ex-girlfriend and her friends they were having this comedy thing at their college, and it was an open mic, and the guy that was up there was I can't say he's horrible, but he hadn't had enough experience or enough of the natural juice to be comfortable enough to make people laugh.
Okay. Would you say that you making people laugh in that way was you were very comfortable doing that?
It's one of the few things that I've always been good at. Is able, like, gallows humor. I mean, I believe that anything, no matter how horrible, can be funny given context. And many times I find that those are the things, those moments when people don't think are funny, you know, and it's not off color. It's really just a matter of more about how you present and your overall affect with how you present it. Because if you're not comfortable with what you're saying, or, you know, it's dead on arrival. And that was pretty much my friends had asked me to go up on stage after him, and I just talked to the audience, And my big thing is, like I told you earlier, I'm more comfortable in front of 100 people than I am in front of just 2 or 3. Especially if they're interesting, because that was, whenever I've been on stage here, I have a little material that I can fall back on, but to be honest, it doesn't come off nearly as naturally as it does when I'm in the moment and I can, interact with somebody and then pull something out and make a funny anecdote, or I just, it's about almost like in the moment I can come up with the funnier stuff than I can thinking about it or writing it down.
Now, I know you had done stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
You were
that was sort of the point when I started doing the open mics.
right, open mic stand-up. What I assume, was that scripted stuff? Like you had a script that you had planned and rehearsed?
No.
Or do you just kind of get up there?
There's a
and
few bits that I would just hold on to, in case I needed to fill the space in between a potential interaction that I could do, or if there was no audience, then I couldn't. So, I mean, if there was 2 or 3 people in there, over here, and there, and it can be kind of hard, but you still got to go up and try to make them laugh.
I know that you got derailed, so to speak, from the stand-up stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of, things in your life took you another way.
Yeah.
You're looking for ways to tap into that part of you and express that part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Would that necessarily have to be stand-up? Or
No.
What else do you think you could do that would?
One of the biggest missed opportunities growing up for me was the fact that I never took advantage of the dramatic opportunities or those things like doing a play, or just doing something that would put me out there. And maybe I would have found that part of me that enjoyed that so much earlier, but due to my introverted general nature.
So that was offered in your high school, your school system, but you just didn't take advantage of it.
I did not.
Yeah.
And it's a sad thing. I mean, I try, my kids now, I'm like, I want you to try stuff.
Yeah.
I want you to put yourself out there. Trust me, because you don't want to look back and think, I could have done this or I could have done that.
Right.
Never know. But luckily, I'm not too old.
Yeah.
So I could, I actually have got this crazy idea about trying out for America's Got Talent or something like that. But, there's finding open mics in the area can be a little tough. But I think I'm going to start trying to make trips down to Boston or maybe Manchester if I.
Okay, but it would be in the spirit of comedy.
Comedy, yes.
I guess what I was
That's
wondering,
really my muse, is the...
okay. I guess what I was wondering, with, Fact TV, we have a local radio station,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever considered just doing some sort of a show or something like that, where it's not stand-up, but...
Well, I really hadn't, but who knows? That's definitely something...
Aaron could be the morning DJ, the morning drive DJ.
That would be
People
cool. I could dig
commuting
that.
To Bellows Falls.
I do a number of voices and stuff, so I could, I suppose I could make it interesting. I interview myself for hours, probably.
Right.
But
well, good. Well, what would you, if you weren't you, what advice would you give you about how to take the next step here?
take less naps.
Yeah.
Just in general, just I'm 46 and I've gotten comfortable. And one of the biggest things I used to say when I was younger, maybe that's why I just kind of, moved around as much as it was, I didn't like to get comfortable. I always felt like if I'm too comfortable, then I'm not moving forward. Mm-hmm. And, not that, and now I found that being comfortable is fine. It's not always, you don't always have to be moving forward. Like I met my beautiful wife and I have my 3 amazing kids and 3 dogs and a cat and a house and a mortgage and all that stuff. And that came from just kind of standing in the moment. But, and I sort of just laid down that forward thinking and focused on the family at hand. And that's an amazing, awesome thing. And I'm looking forward to being the best father I can be going for the rest of my life. But I kind of feel like in order to do that, I really should try to, not to sound hokey, but kind of spread my wings a little bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe do something that really kind of gives you that spark,
Yeah, I mean,
and something they can look up to and say, "Hey, my dad did this."
yeah,
You know.
yeah. That makes sense to me. I am not a dad, but I know, but I'm an observer of people, and I know that if someone who is trying new things and doing things that spark inside of them, I know that if my dad didn't really do too much of that,
My dad did not.
Yeah,
He was very comfortable.
but it was a very that was a different generation. But I think that would be a that could be a very inspiring thing. This reminds me of a conversation that I had with someone who was talking about they're a parent and they are pursuing a life that is more about creativity and not sacrificing their creativity. But the trade-off is finances, and being able to provide things for their family members, and they have other relatives that aren't necessarily exploring creativity, but they have all the stuff.
Yeah.
And it was this big it was this very interesting conversation that we had. So
I definitely understand the desire to be creative and maybe live outside your normal, purview there, and then the harsh reality of financial expectation comes crashing down. And that's sort of, that's sort of one of the crutches or excuses that I've sort of rested on for far too long, with me exploring any of my creative impulses or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I would say, and this is just based on the conversation that we had sitting here, is, you had mentioned about not taking advantage of looking back and seeing that there were opportunities that you didn't take advantage of. And when I think about the opportunities that are here, right in Bellows Falls, and I think of, Fact TV, I think about the Wool radio station, and those are things that are open to. And I didn't even. And that's something that that's the first thing I thought of when you said that.
Absolutely, I didn't even know that this was down here.
Yeah.
And I now that I'm aware, I think I'm going to kind of do a little more investigation into some of the new avenues that I'm aware of now.
All right, good. We talked about all of the possible opportunities for you right here in Bellows Falls. So let's talk about Bellows Falls, because where you live, I don't live right in Bellows Falls, but I live in the suburb of Saxons River. It is a fantastic little town. Why do you think it's so great? Tell me what about it you think is so special?
Well, I mean, to start with, I think it's important to state that Bellows Falls has a bad reputation presently to this day, and I have mixed feelings about that. I do like the fact that reputation keeps the town tiny. It keeps it community-based, not a lot of intrusion. But also, I feel like it's become such a great town that I really want people to come into this town and just check it out. See there's so much going on.
Are you going to get in trouble, people watching this, you saying that it has a bad reputation?
Oh, everyone knows.
Oh, see, I'm not from
but it's
here.
Not
I don't know that.
It
has a great reputation as far as, in my view.
Yeah, and like I said, growing up in Charlestown, I never in a million years thought I would not only be living in Bellows Falls, but owning a house and actually loving it.
Okay.
Things have changed so much. A lot of that is due to the stand-up members of the community, like Betsy and people like
Charlie.
Yep, exactly.
Who's also a guest here.
And a lot of the people in town who have taken up the flag, if you will.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. So I'm going to tell you my story about Bellows Falls. So I started coming up to Vermont. I had never been to Vermont until 2008, and I grew up in Boston. But
that's a little crazy.
We would go to either Maine or we would go to Cape Cod.
So you'd go through it.
No, we would go to
Even
go
if
to
you
Maine.
went to Maine?
No, you go through New Hampshire.
Oh, wow! How about that?
So I became part of a ski house in Vermont. So I started coming up every weekend, and I really fell in love with with Vermont. But I was really a visitor. I never looked at it. We would go to the ski mountain, and then we would go to the ski house, which was in a remote area. So we never really there were no restaurants or anything.
Yeah.
But then in 2012, after coming up here regularly for whatever 5 years, someone brought me to Bellows Falls, and I came to this village in 2012, and I said, "Oh, I think I could live here." Like I
Yeah.
saw it as a place that I could live, and I decided that in 2012 I was going to move to Bellows Falls. I ended up doing not doing that. I moved to Chicago, but I did end up back here.
Yes.
And I think it's gotten even better since 2012. There's plenty of things to do. I've made people are extremely friendly. People are extremely kind and thoughtful of others here, which is really wonderful.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. You know, the reputation has been, like I said, sort of changed largely due to the input of the local great people. You know, and also I don't think they hear it enough, but the local law enforcement around here, I think they do a solid job of you know, making sure that, you know, they've focused on the actual issues that were making this town problematic. And while there still are problems, as there are with every town,
Sure.
I think they have to be really kind of considered in the fact that without the community support and then their support behind it, we could have never gotten Main Street here, you know, as picturesque, frankly, as it is now. I
So
mean,
cute.
I
So
mean,
cute.
10 years ago, there were half the shops were closed. You know, it was run down. There was just no life to it, you know. And then after that, after the Silas Bridge got closed, most people didn't see a future at all. You know, like it really kind of tanked extra hard. And then
So it's so shocking to me because I have no visibility and I don't experience that.
well, it's like it's come really far.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't think of I love driving down Main Street, you know, any time of year really, but especially in the holidays when they got all the like the lights are up there all the time, but they've got like the snowflake light thing on, which I didn't realize are like 5 feet wide. I saw them taking them down, and these poor guys are like,
Right.
but they you know, they really. I think it's becoming a more well-known thing. People are coming on the train, and there's an outreach system down there to get people to come up to Main Street.
Yeah.
And I think working in the hardware store, people come in all the time. One, thinking it's just a hardware store, and then it's like, if I find out somebody hasn't ever been to the store, I turn into like Willy Wonka. You know, I'm like, let's go downstairs, check it out. You guys aren't going to believe what's in it. And everyone's always like amazed by it, you know. And I love J&H. And also, but just the bookstore, you know, the bookstores, the Chow Popolo's is a nice place to eat. There's a vintage clothing store. You've got Works on Paper, and we got two coffee shops almost with the Moondog.
We have Flatiron, Moondog, and
Rockingham
Roasters. And the best part of all, $6 movies.
Yes.
At the Opera House.
$5
Triple Up.
Triple
Well, I
Up.
think the Triple Up went up to $6, or is that still $5?
It might be $6, but
All right, so
it's
I don't
still
know.
a great deal.
It is a good deal. So a first run movie, $6, and it's in the beautiful movie theater.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. And then you can get a popcorn, a beverage, and a soda, all three for it's either $5 or
$5 or
$6.
$6, which is, you know, on a Tuesday night, you know, you get that's amazing for a family that maybe can't afford, you know, to do things special as much as they'd like so many of us can. To be able to do that. Also, don't forget, Wednesday nights they have, or is that what you were talking about when they play the movies from...
Classic movie night.
I love that. I'm so upset that I missed Breakfast Club. I wanted to go see that.
So you know what I saw on Classic Movie Night that I had never seen on the widescreen was The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, my goodness.
So listen to this. I've obviously seen that movie since I was a little kid.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've probably seen it 50, 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this at the big widescreen, and it stayed with me for 3 days. There's something about seeing something on the widescreen that obviously affects your brain. It was really incredible. I mean, I was enjoyed the movie, in a way that I never had. And the other thing, because I'd never seen it with a bunch of strangers, I wasn't a big fan of the Cowardly Lion. I kind of thought he was annoying. He was everyone was laughing at him.
Yeah.
He got all the laughs. I had no idea.
You get the mob mentality, and it can even affect, like, oh, maybe he is kind of funny. Maybe it allows you to enjoy it a little bit, or maybe the flying monkeys weren't ever scared of you, but not that they are now, but
no, they're scary.
Looking around at the people around, maybe there's families that have kids that haven't seen the movie before,
Right.
and that's the one thing that can get through,
Right.
to them, that those.
Right.
I remember my mom telling me she was like traumatized from those monkeys.
I was very scared of the witch when I was a kid. I remember kind of thinking, why is this in a kid's movie? Like, this is a kid's movie. I don't think I'm supposed to be this scared. But
Up next, kid's The Exorcist.
Right.
But.
So, Aaron, do you think that you are going to take some steps to kind of explore this part of yourself?
Honestly, I really seeing the setup they have here, and honestly, just finding out about it, really, I could honestly see myself doing something to this effect.
All right. Well, I'll have you back.
I'd be happy to be back.
I'm going to have you back regardless, because you're a fun guy to hang with and chat with, whether it's here or whether it's at the hardware store.
Sure thing.
And I'm going to be at the hardware store to pick up the paint for my kitchen project.
I'm going to look forward to seeing the wallpaper paint. I really got to check that out, because I like the colors, but you're right, it is.
Yeah, so the wallpaper's done. I'm not sure if it was quite. It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a little bit too brighter than I was expecting. And I think I'm going to have to change because I think we reviewed the cabinet paint color strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm rethinking everything now that the wallpaper is up. But we'll have that conversation. We'll have that conversation offline.
To be continued.
At the hardware store. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
Well, this has been great. I appreciate you having me on, and everybody out there. All of you. I hope to see you in town here, and don't forget to visit J&H Hardware and all the other special places on Main Street.
All right, wonderful.
Great, thank you.
My name is Ricky McGuckran, and you have been listening to Eager to Know, the podcast. If you haven't already, please go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Join me next week for another Eager to Know podcast.